Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us for Business Inspiration. I'm so happy that you're here today with us, and we have a super special guest, and that is Jackie Kloosterboer from Survive It Disaster Preparedness. And we are so excited to have you here today, Jackie. So thanks for being here. How are you? How are things going?
I'm doing really well, and I'm also really happy to be here. I watch your show all the time, and great to be here.
Super great. Well, we're going to share a lot of great information with our viewers today about preparedness. And, I think so many people think, well, what do you mean disaster preparedness? How is that going to grow my business? But we're going to get into that absolutely while we talk. And I really want to hit that fast and hard. And when you're thinking about preparedness for disasters, we are talking about all kinds of disasters, aren't we?
There are so many different disasters that can impact us all, and we've got to be ready for all of those. And even a simple house fire, in the big scheme of disasters, a house fire is pretty small, but it has a huge impact on you and your business. And there's steps you can take to mitigate against that, to make it easier in your recovery for the small disasters right through to the major disasters.
Right. And you help people get prepared for earthquakes, fires, floods, tornadoes, hurricanes. I mean, all of these things, everything that you have to say relates to all those kinds of disasters. So whether you're living in Florida or whether you're living in Northern California or Canada or Alaska, I mean, it all and every place in between and even around the world, your hints and your principles will help.
Yes, definitely. There are some steps that will work for any sort of a disaster. Having the supplies you need, having a plan to connect with your family, that is important for a house fire right through to the big earthquake. Then there's specifics for flooding. There's certain things you need to do for hurricanes and forest fires. There's a different things you need to do, but the basics are the same. And the real key is to have a plan for you, your family, and your business needs to be part of that plan.
So as an entrepreneur, what do I need to do to jump in and start getting ready?
You need to plan how you can keep your business going. So if you have a house fire, you have an earthquake or whatever sort of disaster, how are you going to keep your business running after that happens? Wherever you are in your little piece of the world, you're going to be impacted, but the rest of the world is still functioning. A lot of us have clients right around the world, so we need to keep going the best we can. Studies have shown, and we know ourselves, our family is always going to be our number one concern. If we're prepared and our families are okay, we're going to be able to get back to work much quicker. Now, there's factors that come into it. Do you have power? Different things you need to think about. But if you think through this process before you're faced with a fire or an earthquake, you're going to have a plan and you're going to be able to get back to work much quicker. And they say the longer it takes a business to get back to work, your chances of recovery significantly go down. So people are going to move on. People are going to find other people to do the services you're providing. So if you have a business, your family comes first, prepare for them, but have your business as part of that plan.
Right. And it just seems so basic, but why don't people prepare?
I have been teaching preparedness for many years, and I keep running into the same excuses. People don't know where to start. What do you do? How do you do it? They know they should have a kit. I live in earthquake zone country. We all know we should have a kit, but what do you put in that kit? And yeah, you can go to Google and get a list, but then you get sidetracked. Something doesn't work quite right. And people just get overwhelmed and think, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. We all know tomorrow never comes. So that is largely, the biggest reason I see for people not getting prepared. And then when the disaster strikes, you're not going to be able to run to the grocery store to get the supplies you need. You're not going to be able to go to Home Depot and get what you need. You need to do it now.
Right. And so there's lots of things that go into a grab and you call it a grab and go kit. And so what if some of our viewers have pets? Do we need to actually add them into the grab, not the pet into the kit, but
No, Dana, don't put your dog in your grab and go kit,
right.
but
So
put together a kit for your dog. And just to step back a little bit, there's a number of different kits that you're going to need. You need a grab and go kit. That is your basic kit when you have to flee from your home in the middle of the night because of a house fire. You also need your stay and survive kit, and that's where you can stay at home and survive. And different areas call them different things, but it's really a long-term kit and a short-term kit. In addition, you need to think about your pets. If you evacuate, you must take your pets with you. I respond to house and apartment fires all the time, and I see people that leave their pets because they think it's safer for their pet. They're not allowed to go back in for health and safety reasons. Now what happens to the pet? So you need to think about that. So having the supplies your pet need is really important. And one kit that people often don't think about is when their kids spend time with mom and spend time with, dad, they need to have kits at both houses. So you need to sit down, think about what you need. If you work from home, you need to have a kit with all your business, items. Do you have a spare laptop? Do you have, a memory stick? Different ways that you can keep running your business if you have to evacuate. I see many people that, get evacuated, go stay in a hotel. Their business stuff is at home. In a hotel, you can do your business if
sure.
you're prepared.
Right, right. Yikes. That sounds kind of important. So our viewers need to take note
Yeah,
that you need to start preparing and get those kits ready.
yeah,
And especially, I mean, even if you're a single person, you need things to continue to function while you're out there. But man, I'm thinking about families, with kids and pets, and it gets a little complicated. But if you're not prepared, what a mess. That's just a new disaster on top of the one that just happened,
yeah.
you know?
Think about COVID and what we're going through right now. And, I know your viewers live in different parts of the world, but we saw people lined up at grocery stores. We saw people hoarding toilet paper, hoarding flour and sugar, and even hair dye was hard to find. Can you imagine what it's going to be like after an earthquake or a massive disaster of that magnitude? What it's going to be like when our supplies are not being shipped in? People have no food to feed their family. With COVID, goods are still coming in, but we have the hoarding mentality when it comes to feeding our family, getting what we need. So if you're prepared, for all aspects, your home, your business, your family, you're not going to have to deal with that. And that right there should be, for me, that's enough reason to get me prepared. I don't want to stand in line up at a grocery store for 4 hours to get
Right,
one little tiny bag of flour.
right, right. So what are the three? Are there three? Are there 20? What do people forget the most?
There's your basics that you have to put into your kit. I've got a list on my website. You can find those lists everywhere. What people often forget in if you are on any medication, you need to think about that if you don't have access to a drugstore. I am a diabetic. If I don't get my insulin, I will not survive very long. And I need to think about that. If you're familiar with diabetes, insulin needs to be kept refrigerated. I can't throw that in a kit. So I've worked with my family doctor. I now have insulin with me at all times. So if you or your family or even your pets are on any medications, talk to your family doctor, but don't forget your medications. And even over the counter medications like Tylenol or whatever you use, having that is really important. Having a cell phone charger. And that is critical. I have seen people flee from their homes, and their cell phone charger has been left behind, and sometimes their cell phones. But if you have your cell phone and no charger, not going to work really well for you. So have a cell phone charger and have a set of keys. And people often will run out of their house, their car is outside, but they can't go anywhere because they don't have their keys. And the four, well, you said three, but I'm going to give you four. The last one is copies of important documents, your insurance papers. We don't deal with our insurance very often. And when you have to call them in the middle of the night, a lot of times we don't even remember who they are. So having that information, if you run out without your wallet, your purse, if you have copies of your driver's license, your ID, and any important papers, adoption papers, different papers like that, have copies of those so you have them. If you're not able to get back in or your home gets destroyed, at least you've got those items with you. Going to make your recovery much easier.
Right. Wow. So you have a list on your website that people can go and get. Is that correct?
Yeah, they can visit my website and download the list. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And what's that website name?
Surviveit.ca. So surviveit.ca. I'm in
All right.
Vancouver, so I've got the CA.
Right. Okay. And so when they go there, there's a checklist they can just download and they can start making their kits right now. So that's great. So thank you so much, Jackie, for just having that on your website. So everybody go to survive-it.ca.
CA, yeah.
Yeah, .ca, and go get that list of things you need to put in your grab and go bag. And you'll find information about your to get for your families, for your pets, all this stuff. Don't forget your medication and a cell phone charger. That sounds so basic, but I can imagine running out without it. Oh goodness, that's terrible. So how does being prepared for a disaster, let's get into that. How does this really going to impact my business? So there's a house fire, or there's a fire, a forest fire. Where I live, it would be a grass fire. But anyway, what am I going to do? How's this going to help me out?
Okay, let's use you as an example. You have to evacuate your home. You do your Tuesday morning calls. You don't have your computer and everything you need to do that. You're going to have some trouble doing that. Having a backup computer, having all of the things you need for that. If your family is not prepared, you're going to be dealing with that, trying to get clothes for your family, trying to get different, what your pets need. If you have that all together, you're not going to be spending the time on that. You can be focusing on other things you need to do. So just having that preparedness kit, your home kit, your grab and go kit, having that in place is going to make it much easier to move forward. You're not going to be trying to feed your family, wondering how you can get enough water, how you're going to get this, how you're going to get that. You've got it. You can now focus on your business and other things you need to focus on. You may not get back to your business today or tomorrow, but within a couple of days, you're going to be way ahead of the people that have never bothered to do anything.
Right. I know that when I used to live in Southern California, we always had I don't know, they weren't grab and go because they certainly were too big to grab, but we had big trash cans, big rubber trash cans, and lids, and it was sealed, and it had clothes and food and batteries and flashlights and all that good stuff in there, so that if we had an earthquake, because that was our big concern down in Southern California where I lived, was earthquakes. And so if anything were to happen, they were out in the garage, so that if the house were to fall down, or a gas leak or something to catch fire, all those things can happen. But that was out in the garage, and the chances of it getting damage was less. So I really thought that was quite the good thing to have. And I am quite a failure when it comes to grab and go here in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and we haven't put it together yet. So I will go do that. When you were talking about documents, you don't necessarily don't take the documents. You want to take copies of.
Take copies, scan them onto a memory stick or however you store your information, but just make sure you've got access to them. It is very difficult to get documents back. And if it's a big event like an earthquake and everyone's trying to retrieve their documents, you've already got them. Again, you're way ahead. Preparedness is going to keep you ahead of everybody else that never bothered to do it. So that is the real secret here.
Right. So in your business, one of the things that you focus on is earthquakes. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is. I'm in Vancouver, so same as California, earthquakes are our biggest threat.
Right. So you do assessments, is that correct? So you can help a family or even a business. So I work in this office, let's say, and I have things that people have in offices. What would happen in an earthquake? I might be hit in the head by this bookcase, or I might be smacked with this monitor, or so you actually do assessments to help us be more safe. Is that correct?
Definitely. I will virtually right now come into your home and do a 32 checkpoint inspection, so to speak. So we'll look at all the different areas of your home and identify what you can do. You'll get a list of what needs to be done, and that is your way to start developing it. You have a clear description of what you need to do to make sure when an earthquake or any type of disaster happens that you will have what you need. What people often don't think about is an earthquake can cause many other disasters as well. It can cause gas leaks, it can cause fires, it can cause flooding, tsunamis. So, sort of the general rule, if you're prepared for the big earthquake, you're going to be ready for anything that comes your way. And that's what the assessment does, is it helps you identify what you need. We look at your family, what needs to go into your kits, how you connect with your family. If you're not together when a major event happens, phones aren't working, how are you and your family going to connect? So we look at ways to do that, and really helpful. And it gets, people just get overwhelmed and don't do it. This is the push they need to get it done. And you need to be prepared.
So, so you're in Vancouver, and someone in Southern California says, Jackie, help me. Can you assess my home? So does this person walk around with a cell phone and show you what's going on, or?
Yeah, I don't assess the building of the home. I don't have that background. I'm the preparedness part of it. So I can help them identify what they need. We can look at their community. They know their neighborhoods, what they can do in their neighborhood, what supplies, and we look at all of that. And
so, but if you're in my home, let's say you're doing an in-home assessment, and you go, is that bookcase anchored to the wall? Would you make suggestions like that?
Yeah, we would take a look at the bookcase and we would talk about what would happen and, how you could anchor it to the wall. And there's a lot of, Home Depot, you can go there and buy all of the bits and pieces you need to do that. But at least and you'll have a list. So, bookcase anchored to the wall. Move your bed away from the window. So you'll have that checklist to say, this is what I need to do. You don't want to do it, you can hire a contractor to come in and do it. Maybe you have a next door neighbor that'll help you. Apartment buildings, people get together and arrange for a day where a couple of people are going to come around and secure the hot water tanks and do different things. So number of ways to approach it. But the key here is we make it as simple as we can to get you prepared.
Right.
If you're prepared, you're going to get through it much better, as we've sort of focused on through this, and it's critical. And
yeah,
the
and I
time
think
to do it is now.
And I think a lot of people don't think about the bed under the window.
No.
That bookcase. Well, I think it's heavy. It's filled with books. What the heck? But in an earthquake, someone could be either hurt or, terribly injured, if
Yeah.
not worse. Yeah, with
And how would
that
you
bookcase.
feel if that bookcase fell over and injured your puppy or your pet or even a family member?
Right.
Easily avoidable just by taking some simple action. So
Right.
getting
Right.
prepared is critical.
Well, it's so interesting. So people could go again to your website, and is there a place on the website to say, hey, I want to talk about an assessment?
Yeah, all my contact information, send me an email and we can talk about what works and we'll make it specific to your unique situation. We all live in different areas, have different situations. So we can definitely talk about that and how you can get better prepared. So
Yeah.
yeah, if you're open to it, give me a call. More than happy to talk to you and see if it is right for you and get you
Yeah.
prepared.
And I just think that just being aware, like right now, our viewers could so easily just walk around their house and say, yeah, this bookcase, it's not as secure as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And they could, so they don't necessarily have to run to you, but you're the expert. You know what to look for. Again, you every time we talk about preparedness, I always go, oh, I hadn't thought about that. It's always that little bits and pieces of things that I just never would have thought of at all. So
When
that
they
I
let
think
when they let me into the States, I'm coming to your house to get you prepared, Dana.
oh dear, oh
We've been
dear, oh
talking
dear.
about this too long.
Okay, I'll get my grab and go before you get here. Oh, Jackie's arriving. That's what's going to happen. I can tell you right now, that's what's going to happen. And so I think this is really important. I think for our friends watching, whether you're a business owner or you work for somebody else, um, if your business is able to run, but your family is in disarray, you can't focus on your business.
No, no, and that works for businesses. It works for your staff as well. If you have staff that work for you, if your staff is not prepared at home and their family will always be number one, and family should be number one. So if their
Yeah.
family is not prepared, they don't have what they need, people are not going to be comfortable coming back to work. But if they're prepared and they're able to get back to work, they're going to come back much sooner. And businesses that get up and running sooner are going to, do much better than businesses that take some time. You may never reopen if you can't get back up and running quickly. So definitely things to think about and take action, do what you can to get prepared. That's what's really critical.
Right, right, absolutely. And so, Jackie, we are at the end of our time, and I want to make sure that people know how to get a hold of you. Here's your website. It is survive-it.ca. Your email address, myeqplan@gmail.com. So if anybody out there is interested on getting some advice, getting some words of wisdom, get that free assessment, not the free assessment, the free go bag list. Go to her website and get that information. She also, Jackie, you also do a newsletter.
I do a twice a month newsletter with earthquake and disaster tips. So just simple little things to keep it sort of top in mind so you get preparedness. And I also have free 45-minute sessions where we'll go through what goes into a grab and go kit. So yeah, if that's something you're interested in, sign up for one of those. There's no costs and we'd be happy to have you on the call and get you prepared.
And all of that you can get to from your website.
Yeah, go to my website.
Absolutely. So everyone, go to www.survive-it.ca and get on one of those free webinars about grab and go kits. Get the list on what you can have. It's all free, so you can't go wrong with free. Absolutely. And to survive, to be prepared, and have your family prepared, peace of mind. Jackie, there's no price for that, and you're giving it to us for free, and we really thank you so much for that. Jackie, I appreciate you being here. And any last words to get us motivated to get that grab and go kit? What do you want to say? Anything to hit us in the head?
The time to prepare is now. once you have the earthquake or the hurricane or the forest fire, it's too late. You've got to do it now. Do it now before you're facing an earthquake. You don't want to be thinking, oh, I wish I'd listened to that woman, as you're, left with nothing. So
Yeah,
get
right.
prepared.
Well, thank you so much, Jackie. Thank you for your information. Thanks everyone for watching. We are going to have another business inspiration next Tuesday. So we'll see you then. Thank you, Jackie. Thanks everybody for watching.